God, please, no! 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 No!
That's the main theme of this video. Now in chapter 8, Mark Manson focuses on writing the reason saying no is actually a good thing. Now let's begin. When we were growing up, most of us were convinced that freedom is the hidden treasure or the jackpot that will change our perspective totally after we experience it. Freedom grants the opportunity for greater meaning, but by itself, it means nothing. It might be more of a myth rather than a reality. It is because freedom by itself has no meaning, since there is nothing to reject. The only way to achieve meaning and a sense of importance in one's life is through a rejection of options. In order to be able to reject something, we first need to narrow freedom. And hypothetically, that would mean to experience less freedom rather than more of it. Many of us do wrong by continually focusing on saying yes and taking the blame when it's not our fault. By doing so, we actually return to the first rule depicted in this book, which refers to accept that we are not entitled to anything. Although we might possess better skills than others, we are all average in general, mediocre. Accepting everything means that everything holds the same level of value for us, which turns our life into something meaningless. Because of that, the only way to be able to find out what should be prioritized and what we shouldn't care about is by rejecting some things in our life. Nevertheless, we might be amazed by what limiting freedom could bring to us. Sometimes, wandering around the world without any specific goal won't make us feel like the world's king and queen, but instead as meaningless beings. Mark Manson believes that there is a strong correlation between what we reject and our identity. In the end, what we accept and also what we reject is what defines us. Most logically, this means that if we avoid rejecting anything, can be translated as avoiding any form of conflicts and confrontation, which ultimately leads to a very subtle form of entitlement. From the previous chapter, we already know that entitlement is a poisonous trait as it doesn't spur the desire to grow. Mark also denies the idea that freedom is the key to happiness. When we refer to this state, we actually refer to a moment in which we are overloaded with options, and we end up suffering from what is known as the paradox of choice. Having more is not always better, because we tend to question our rejections due to a multitude of opportunities. We are often happier with less. Now, talking about commitment, that's another thing. Commitment gives you freedom because it hones your attention and focus, directing them towards what is most efficient at making you healthy and happy. Commitment makes decision-making easier and removes FOMO, F-O-M-O, which stands for the fear of missing out. Commitment allows you to focus intently on a few highly important goals and achieve a greater degree of success than you otherwise would. So, saying no has its benefit, and commit to yourself.